Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. With Leo Swordmaster Path finally here, it is time to pull some shards. First, thank you Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video and for giving me this wonderful promo link down below in the description there in the QR code. A new account with Deacon Armstrong after tutorial, Uugo at 15, Tagoar at 20, Mausoleum Mage at 30, the best possible start to raid. And yeah, time to pull shards for Leo for the Swordmaster's Path. I have been saving for a long time for this on 3 different accounts. And my current plan is to pull 170 Ancients, 12 Voids and 8 Sacreds on one of the accounts, 170 Ancients, 11 Voids and 8 Sacreds on another, and 146 Ancients, 15 Voids and 9 Sacreds on the third account. So overall, way more than 500 shards waiting to be pulled. And let's see what we're going to find from all of those. Let's get started with Void Shards on each account, just in case that I happen to pull Leo from a Void Shard, then that would change my plans a little bit, because then I wouldn't need Leo. Of course, I would go for the Soul, which would be a little bit cheaper. There's a progressive chance event. I could leave the slot unfulfilled, so that I would have equal chance to pull any legendary. There is, of course, Shredder here. Shredder is only available now. And there is Super Speed Lead and boosted up, they're basically available. I think I want to go for Raiho. I want to go for the idea of this Hydra prowess of this champion. So let's see. We're going to pull 12 Void Shards on this account. Need to set the reserve vault pull first. Yeah, let's do that. And here we go. Let's start pulling 12 of these. Void Shards, they're usually just rares. I mean, I don't have Code Hard on this account. Seducer, okay, well, Seducer is not exactly my idea of a great Void rare either, but alright. Let's see, what else can I find? Bellower! Yes, this account was missing Bellower. Bellower, great control champion, great for controlling waves. You could even build a Doom Tower team with multiple Bellowers. So if I happen to find a bunch of these, I'm not sorry. I'm just going to stun everything in those Doom Tower waves. Selenia, okay, so some HP burn capabilities. I do like Selenia. Selenia is fun, although nothing really breaking, game changing. What else can we find? We find a Hollow. Alright. That was 4. And then we pick up a Glade Wolf. Well, I have a bunch of Glade Wolves already. Glade Wolf is not a bad rare though. I do think Glade Wolf is a surprisingly good character. I would need to make a video of Glade Wolf. I have a 60 Glade Wolf for one of the accounts, so I could work on that. Ifrit, well, I don't really know about that Ifrit. Yuzan the Marooned. Okay, I'm not familiar with this one. What do the reviews say? Reviews say that Yuzan is pretty good. What abilities does he have? There's a random debuff from this champion to the target. Heals this champion. Okay. Attacks all enemies. Removes random buffs from all enemies. Heals this champion. Removes debuff from all allies. Heals all allies. Okay, and places block debuff. That does sound pretty good. Cancel whenever the champion heals themselves using one of their own skills. Also heals all allies by 20%. Okay. Alright. I like that. I like that a lot. Looks sweet. Mykolos, okay. What else can we find? Doom Screech. Alright, I didn't have a Doom Screech yet. And Ox. Looks like every other barbarian. Ox good. I don't recall that character either. And a Panthera. Had to check how many I have pulled. I have 1 pull left on this, so let's do it one more time. We have 1 epic so far. The others are rares, and it's another Ifrit. Okay, well, that's nothing spectacular, but okay. So those are the Voids. Didn't get Leo from there, so we will need some points for Leo. And then 170 Ancients. Let's do this. 10 at a time. Can we pick up a second copy of Donatello here? That would be sweet. Misericord, okay. Heres, Magister, War Priest, Madman, Mini War Priests handle it. Okay, I've seen all of those before, nothing too special there. What are we going to find next? Master Tiger Soul. More War Priests. So many War Priest, Marauder, Siegebreaker. Just rares. Nothing too special yet, but we have a lot of pulls from the Ancients. Hellbound Sprite, I do like Hellbound Sprite or not. Yeah, wrong. Okay, so the first epic pull there. Or more War Maidens, Corpulent Cadavers. I see. Gaelic, Crimson Slayer. Beast Renders, Bombardiers, Magus is this. Not too great rares. Let's see what else we can find. I guess so. Execution. Oh, yeah, that's nothing to write home about. But more War Maidens. Nazana. I do not know who Nazana is. Nazana Demon Spawn. Attacks all enemies. Well, A1 AoE. Nice. Ally protection buff. Places a shield buff on this champion. All enemies 50% chance to play 50% decrease attack. Sure. Let's see what else we can find. Hound Spawn Arndulf. I'm not familiar with that one either. Definitely looks very, very armored. Placing Provoke. Attacks all enemies. 75% chance of placing weaken. Books to 100%. There's a reflect damage buff on all allies. Counter attack buff on this champion. Alright, so pretty basic defense stuff there. What else can we pick up? More help on sprites, alright. Okay, and then next set, a couple of epics. Not super convinced about them. Haven't gotten any too strong. I mean, Help on Sprite is nice. Coffin Smasher, I like Coffin Smasher. Nice little HP champion, HP based, so easy to build to survive. But nothing too special. Captain Temila. Okay, Warden. Captain Temila. Another Dark Elf. Looks exactly like Crimson Helm, so many of these Dark Elves look like this. Attacks one enemy, with chance of placing continuous heal. If the hit is critical, heals the champion by their max HP. Places increased defense on all allies. Heals all allies. Okay. And ally protection. Alright. Some survivability skills, and then a Warden. Next one has 40% of placing a weaken debuff. Attacks all enemies, 50% of placing decrease attack. Small version. Alright. Let's see what else can we pick up. Netsman, Empress, Odachi. Yep. So some more rares. And more. More can we find? Amiburs, Sodachi, Slashers, Perforators. And the next set. Elven Halberdier, Channelier, Chopper. Avir the Alchemage. One of like those mid-tier rares. But Teresk and a Necro Hunter. Teresk attacks one enemy 2 times. Each has 25% chance to increase the duration of random debuff. Removes random buffs. Attacks all enemies. Places decrease resistance. Okay. Necro Hunter. that is one expressionless face. Okay, decrease defense. Books only up to 75%, although with 2 hits. Attacks all enemies, basically. Veil. Alright. And more. We want more. More rares, more epics. Durandil. Durandil. Attacks one enemy 2 times. 20% chance of placing a freeze debuff. No way to book that further. Attacks all enemies. Will ignore some defense. And fill turn meter with criticals. Well, that is nice, but some ignore defense built into this one. Okay. And so many champions in raid, I just don't even recognize most of these. Broodlord. This provoke if target is under decreased speed. Yeah. Well, there is the stun there. There's a little bit of something. Chancellor Jasmine. Attacks one enemy. Extra if no active buffs. Heals an ally. Removes all buffs from all enemies. But books up to 75. Alright. Well, nomads. Pathfinders. Tagoar. Well, that is a quality epic. And actually, this account, by the way, this is an old account. This does not have Tagoar yet. So this is the first Tagoar for this account. This is actually going to be super good. Because I have, like many old accounts, I have an acute lack of support characters. Because you just couldn't get them anywhere. Nowadays, of course, you start with the links and you get a ton of great supports right at the start. But I just don't have any great supports. And now I get Tagoar. So that's actually going to be leveled up quite quickly. So those were the ancients. And then I want to pull 8 sacreds. There's a chance to pick up a second copy of Donatello. Again, of course, I could have chosen not to do anything. Like there's these empowerment champions, Donatello, Raph, or April. I don't have April, but I don't think I need April. Second Donnie could be interesting. So that's why I chose this one. And let's see. 8 of these sacreds. Let's go. The first one is Frostbringer. Alright. Frostbringer who doesn't actually bring any frost. Yeah, I thought I remembered that. Then we have Nazana. All enemies. Yeah. And next, Juliana. Alright. Critical hit fills the champion's turn meter. Increase crit rate. Poison for 3 turns. If Romero is on the same, then there will be some sweet ignore defense. HP burn. And books to 100%. Alright. 3 turn HP burn too. Potentially usable. Right, next up we have Bone Keeper. What does everyone look like this? I thought I was going to pull a seer. Battery level 1 has decreased defense. Okay. Then what do we find? Kellan the Shrike. I already have Kellan. I actually have Kellan on this account. So this is a duplicate Kellan. That means Faction Guardians. Okay. Nice. Kellan does some shooting, but I haven't been too impressed by him, to be honest. Infernal Baroness. Alright, attacks all enemies. He's still out the lowest HP. Attacks all enemies. Okay. Canoness. I see. And one more time with the feel. What do we find? Kirin, the Harvester. Alright. Kirin is not one of the absolute best legendaries that you could find for Lizardmen, but attacks all enemies, 50% chance of placing decreased speed debuff for 2 turns, steals 5% of each enemy's turn meter, and then puts all of target skills on cooldown, 75% chance of decreasing turn meters of all enemies under sleep debuff, and without a sleep debuff as well, 75% chance of placing a sleep debuff on all enemies for 1 turn, will ignore block debuffs, then grants an extra turn. So Kirin does have some pretty sweet abilities to control the speed, get them into sleep. There's some sweet things going on with Kirin. Also, whenever an enemy attempts to increase their turn meter, decrease the value of the turn meter field effect by 25%. Alright. That's a legendary champion. So that was the haul for the first account. Then the second account, and we start with Void Shards again. 11 Void Shards to be pulled with this account. And let's go. Starting with some Void Rares. Bloodhorn. Oh, okay. Let's see what else can we find. Painsmith. For a moment there I thought it would be Cursed. Like those dwarves look so alike. Rock Beast. Oh, alright. Grabbing some pretty useless Void Rares here, I see. I see. Huntress. Like, what fusion fest is this? Well, they might have used fusion pieces, maybe. Pantera. Okay. Daywalker. Not familiar with this one. Not Haruspex. I do have Haruspex and I'm not happy. Retainer. Okay. What else? Well, that's a Cursed. Cursed is, I mean, I do like Cursed. Attacks one enemy, plays an extra hit if this attack is critical. The extra hit places a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. So actually on one of my accounts I do use Cursed on the Iron Twins for the decreased speed effect. So, fine. Cursed has some uses. Scrapper. Okay. And let's go one more time with the feel. Genbo. Attacks 1 enemy 2 times. Each hit steals any increased attack buffs. Chance of dealing random buff. Attacks all enemies, 80% of decreasing the duration of all buffs by 1 turn. Increase crit rate, increase crit damage on this champion, grants an extra turn. Immune to decrease attack debuffs, will ignore unkillable buffs when attacking under increased attack buff, and increase ally speed in arena battles by 20%. Alright. Genbow has some uses. And then it's time to move on to the ancient shards. So we have 170 of these to pull, so let's get going. See what we are able to pick up. Balthus Drauglord. 30% plus decrease attack. Attacks all enemies plus decrease crit rate. Places provoke and heals. There was also Sanguinia there on 2 epics. And then the next set gives me nothing too much. And then we get Vasalas Grave Dirt. What else can we pick up? Oh, Priest Galex. Sir Artimage, Lady Quillen. Well, that is a Mikage fusion piece. Otherwise useless. And what about this one? Decrease defense, decrease speed. Removes all debuffs. Okay. And more. We need more. Ambassador Lethalin. And that's like a healer type, if I remember correctly. I think I have that already. And what else can we find? Penitence, how small? Cormac, the High Peak. This one enemy, 40% plus increased speed. For attacking has decreased defense. Increase accuracy, increase crit rate. Alright. And then Yelagirna. Yelagirna. One enemy places 50% increase attack buff on this champion. Attacks all enemies, decrease attack. Attacks one enemy, block buffs and block active skills. Books to 100. Okay. Revise one random ally with 50% HP every time this champion kills an enemy. I have Sachi. Sachi does a similar thing as well. Just doesn't proc quite as often as you would really like to. Lady Annabelle, so okay, some solo potential. Heals herself when your friends die. Suirin and Archbishop Binthroy. One enemy transfers one random diva from this champion to the target and steal stuff. Increase accuracy buff on all allies. Heal reduction on all enemies. Block buffs debuff on all enemies. Books to 100%. Demon Spawn Undead Horde Knights Revenant cannot resist these debuffs. Heals all allies by 30% of their max HP. Increased defense. Also places shield. Removes all decreased defense debuffs and weakened debuffs from this champion at the start of each turn. Right, Archbishop. Here we go. Ursine Ironhide. Creodan the Blue. Got a Frozen Banshee there. It's cool. Tiger Souls. X-Men. Rough Stones. So nothing special there. Although we have gotten something good already. Sticking to Pounder. Fane. Fane can deal a lot of damage, poison, debuffs, but super fragile. I already have Fane though, but I'm not a huge fan. I find Fane really hard to keep alive. Boff the Rancid. Boff is interesting. Boff is like a Swiss army knife of various various debuffs. So heal reduction, decrease accuracy, and increase accuracy removes debuffs from allies, heals them. And decrease the damage all allies receive from poison by 50%. A pretty unique ability. So both has some fun things going, maybe a little bit niche abilities sometimes, but a lot of stuff going on for both. What else can we find? Rock tooths, hound spawns. Yes, these spreadsheets and stuff. Mistrider Daith, missionary. Okay. More Kales. More Kales the merrier. Steel Skull. Don't think I'm familiar with this one. One enemy 2 times, 10% chance of placing a poison. Heals a target ally. Okay, so healer, but I don't know. In general, I prefer abilities to heal based on the healer's max HP instead of the target's. Oh, that's a lot of stuff. Mordecai. I do like Mordecai. A wonderful HP burn, area effect HP burn champion. I have Mordecai on one of my accounts and I find it really fun. Sachi, I have Sachi as well. Some AoE things, but I don't really know. Crypt Witch and Wheeldrux. I'm not familiar with these. Leech debuff, Hex debuff. Okay, the Crypt Witch. More damage if allies have, if they have buffs, targets have buffs. Decrease defense and ignore some defense. Will ignore 50% target's defense if the champion has higher speed. Alright, so that was the 170 ancients, and then finally we have 8 sacred shards to pull. If I pick up a second Donatello, then so be it. Let's see how it goes. 8 sacred shards, and we get an Ursin Ironhide. Alright, and an Armina. Okay, Armina potentially has some uses. Stuns, decreased defense. All right. It's a rock breaker. And the rock breaker does look really hilarious. A rock breaker hasn't really been doing much damage though. Increases defense, provokes and counterattacks. And that's basically what it does. And then we pick up Board, the Bard. I'm not familiar with this one. Attacks one enemy 3 times. Heal reduction. It represents stealing 2 random buffs from the target. Or stunning them if they have no buffs. All enemies decrease defense books to 100%. Right. What else can we find? We find a Seeker. It's one enemy 2 times. 24% chance of placing provoke. Deals the turn meter of all allies by 30%. The increased attack grants extra turn. Heals. Alright. Now Seeker is potentially a strong champion. Then we pick up Misiliac Priest on. I do like On. On is such a fun champion. It's 1 2 times, has chance of placing poison debuff. The big poison books up a little bit. Instantly activates poison debuffs on the target. And attacks all enemies. Places poison debuffs and poison sensitivity. And whenever poison debuffs are activated, increases HP and death. Resets each round though. But On is one of those champions that is potentially can be built to solo some of the dungeons. Because he just lives forever and poisons the enemies. And Huskar roll, so we get some stun things going as well. One enemy places stun debuff. All enemies has chance of placing stun debuff. Immune to stuns himself and increases damage, so a pretty very stun heavy champion. Completely built around the stun mechanic. And finally, Jotun. Well, not sure if that's that's so great. Alright. Anyway. That was the second account, and we have one more account to go. And this account hasn't been as good at getting some ancient shards, so this will have to pull a few more voids to get where we want to be. So let's try to pull 15 voids here. Let's go. Let's see what we can pick up from these void shards. Arbalester. All right. Veteran. I forgot to set it to pull to the... Oh, I can't even pull that. Oh, because this account is not level 60. Yeah, well, that's gonna hurt. Maybe we'll pull the voids 10 at a time. I'm going to have to move some stuff to the vault in between. Master Kurzad. Alright, so some speed reduction. No Arbalesters. Painkeeper. Alright, that's nice. And then we need to pull a few more voids. Now pulling all those ancients is going to be a problem. Because I need to switch things into the vault. Reliquary Tender. So Painkeeper and Reliquary Tender. Like Cold Heart is missing, and then we have the... And we have a good collection of void rares. Ragemonger. And we get an Ashwalker. Not being able to pull directly into the vault is such a huge problem, by the way. But let's see. We start pulling some ancients and then we just go clear some stuff into the vault when we need to. Here we go. It's the Beast Resters and the Marauders and stuff. Missionary. Alright. Misery Codes and things. And what else do we find? Perforator. Master Butcher does have some uses. Cornelia. I do like Cornelia a lot. I have Cornelia on one of my accounts. And it's not this one, so this is now the first Cornelia for this account. Cornelia with sleep solo abilities can solo multiple Doom Tower bosses, and I use Cornelia a lot while climbing the Doom Tower waves because Cornelia can put them to sleep, so this is that's a great pull. Next up, no, Yaga. Oh, yeah, that's not great. Arndulf and Atur. I am not certain what these are. Provoke, counterattack. Right, and Arndulf. Oh, yeah, that was also another provoke. Provoke champion. All right. There are just at Zargala. Alright, so that is some orc DPS power. Nice. Clean some up into the vault again, and then we can continue. Yeah, reaching level 60 is number kitties. So attacks one enemy, 85% chance of placing heal reduction. Increase attack and attacks 4 times at random. Attacks all enemies 2 times. Secret skill only becomes available when the champion has lost 50% of their HP. Okay. Right, what else can we find? Life takers. Flesh Terror. Don't think I'm familiar with this one either. Heals all allies, decrease duration of enemy buffs. I see, I see. Gnarok's Black Horn. 1 and 2 times has place decrease speed, ally protection, counter attack, provoke, reflect damage. Send another 40 champions to the vault, and then we can keep pulling more. So what do we find this time? A legendary, and it's Truath. Okay, legend in the making badge. This is my newest account. Attacks one enemy, heals champion by 5% of their max HP. Okay. Attacks all enemies with a perfect veil on all allies except this champion. Counterattack and strengthen. Heals target ally by 20% of this champion's max HP. Then balance the HP of all allies. And ally protection. Okay. Sounds interesting. Let's see what else can we find. Some rares, nothing too spectacular there. There also Gnawhorn, which may have some uses. Lady Etessa, I think she was one of the weaker ones. I think I already have that one. What else? Hexia. Not familiar with her. And Vala. Alright, went through another round of vaulting stuff, and then we can get to the final pulls. Still 27 ancients to go, and then some sacreds. Another coffin smasher there. And Strategos Islin. Attacks one enemy 2 times, 35% of placing a provoke debuff. Attacks all enemies before attacking, decrease duration of all enemy buffs. Decrease speed, places ally protection, increase defense, counter attack, and shield. Heals about 1% for each 500 defense this champion has. Okay. There's already 2 legendaries out of ancient shards for this account. On a roll here. Odom and Rich. Okay, and then we're going to pull all these ancient shards. So we have 7 remaining. We need to pull them one by one. And we pick up rough stone. Well, that's rough. Tormentor. Yeah, one of the generic looking demon spawns. An epic. Giscard, the Sigiled. Decrease attack. Provoke debuff. Place your shield buff. Increase defense. Increase attack on all allies. Increase turn meter whenever the attack by enemy under provoke. Alright. Great job, Giscard. Then we have Dolor. And Flannan. And another Attel again. Bloodbraid. Those were the ancients, and then we have 9 sacred shards. Let's pull them and see what can we find from the sacred shards, the grand finale. It's a Donatello. That's a Donatello right there. My second Donatello on this account. I have 2 Donnies. I can make a 5-turtle team even with 2 Donnies, Raph, Mikey, and Leo. That's Donatello right there. What do I want now that I have Donatello? I guess I could pick up the April after all. If April is forthcoming, then yeah, let's grab the April too. I think I need 3 Donatellos, right? Ray. Alright. Attacks all enemies, decrease defense. Attacks all enemies, targets under debuffs. Attacks all enemies, removes all buffs. And places freezes. Alright. What else? This account is on a roll. Or was until that Grimskin. I suppose, but alright. Okay. Great Hoof Loriaka. Well, these ratings are not that great. Okay. But the legendary streak is something else. Leech and Canoness, all right, and going to pull that April. We're so going to pull that April still, right? Or maybe not. But 3 legendaries out of 9 sacreds. That's still great. Alright, Hoarding. So those were all of the shards I had. So that is going to get me all the points I need to pick up Leo on 3 accounts. So when it comes to this account was able to pick up Ray. Nice, some freeze power. Swagger Islin, that's okay, I suppose. And then I had the Truath and I had Cornelia. So, and Zagala, I suppose, as well. So I guess that's a pretty decent haul overall. And then we had this account, and this account was able to pick up the Archbishop is there, of course. Genbo is there. Then I have Mordecai. Mordecai is nice. And Boff and Seeker and On. And I guess that Hoskarul can have some uses as well. So, okay, some nice stuff here as well. And this first account really had the worst luck by far out of these. Because, okay, I got Kerin, which is nice. And I got Tagoar. And Tagoar is going to be super, super good for this account. Because this account is really missing out on those support champions. But other than that, it was not a very, very great haul in this one. So that was that. Thank you, Raid Shadow Legends, for sponsoring this video. And I was able to pick up enough points. I'm going to grab 3 copies of Leo for all of my accounts. So all 3 accounts are going to have all 4 turtles. And yeah, they are just going to be so great. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.